welcome back to another video, and this is my collective makeup review video for January. Welcome back and Happy New Year's. I'm filming this on the 1st of January of 2025, so this is going to be the first video I will be filming this year. And I was originally meant to do this video already during December, but unfortunately the December it got quite busy and there was one weekend that I couldn't actually film, which meant that I had to do some rearranging with my filming schedule, and that's why we are now doing this collective makeup review video now. And also something that, if I think you can hear it, I've been having a cold, so it's getting better. It has now gotten better, it's just that my voice is still quite low, and I luckily didn't get fever or anything, but I also, because I have been sick, and now that I'm on a sort of Christmas holiday, I had planned to actually film this already before the New Year's, but because I've been sick and I haven't been feeling that well, that is why we're filming this now. But anyway, these are going to be products that I've been mainly using from the end of November and through December. So most of these products are products that are from sort of last year. However, I will be doing, after this one, I will be filming my sort of rest of favorite makeup products from 2024. So I already managed to get my eyeshadow palette ranking from 2024 up on my channel. You can go and watch it, it's on my ranking playlist. But if you're interested on my other makeup favorites from last year, that's still going to be coming up, and I think I will be doing so that I'll be first posting this video, and then I'll be posting the sort of favorites video from 2024 after this one, and I will try to get both of these videos out on the same week that I am filming this, which is a bit exceptional because usually I have to do the filming on the following week, but because as I said, I'm on holiday now, so I do have a bit more time. But let's get to the sort of collective makeup review, and if you're interested in about eyeshadow palettes, I do eyeshadow palettes separately. So just like with the eyeshadow palette ranking from last year, I was able to film the last eyeshadow palette review video. I reviewed about 5 palettes in that video. That's something that you can find on my playlist. But we do have a full face almost, because I do have some base products, then there's some lip products, we then have cheek products, and there is actually also mascara in this one. But as always, let's start with the base products that I have for this video. So with base products, actually one of them I have already decluttered, or I actually used it up, so I don't know, I no longer have it, but you will be seeing a picture somewhere here about the sort of bottle, because it's a foundation. But let's now go through first a product that I do have. So I actually did end up testing the Makeup Revolution IRL filter finish. So I tested the foundation of this one, and then I tested this concealer, and I will be talking about the foundation after this one, but as I said, I have already thrown out the foundation bottle because I actually use it up. Regarding the concealer, this is the concealer that I have been wearing for some time now in my video. It's actually the concealer I'm wearing today. And my shade is C3, which is usually the shade I am in with Makeup Revolution complexion products. I'm just gonna quickly show what kind of applicator this has. So this has a bit of a bent doe foot applicator is how I would describe this one. I have to say I am actually a fan of this applicator because it's a bit bent, so it kinda is actually quite easy to get it, because these days how I do my concealer is that I put a spot here, and then a bit here to clean up my eyeshadow sort of edges. So I do think for precision this is a pretty good applicator. In terms of formula, I do say that it is a bit on the, I wouldn't call it thick, but I was kind of having high expectations for this one, because spoiler alert, I actually did like the foundation quite a lot. We will be talking about that also in my 2024 favorites video later on. But this concealer, I do think I will still prefer the Conceal and Define, which is the sort of original concealer that I have. And I think why I prefer that over this one is that I feel that it's a tad creamier. I kind of felt that because I do still have to powder this one, I think if I would not have to powder this, then I think I would have actually preferred this over the Conceal and Define, but this unfortunately does crease if you don't powder it down. So with powder, unfortunately, this goes to almost being a bit dry looking under my eyes. I do think that if you are very light-handed with your powder, then this is alright, but I do think that unfortunately this just like didn't quite make it to be like over the Conceal and Define concealer that I like from them, which is their sort of OG concealer. However, if you are looking a more sort of like matte leaning concealer that isn't still, because I would not still say that this is like, because I did try the e.l.f. Like very heavy duty e.l.f. matte concealer, which I did discuss, that was like a complete disaster, especially someone who's in their 30s. I do think that if you're looking at matte concealer and you're someone like me who is already maybe having bit texture under their eyes, I do think this is still like thin enough that you can actually use this even if you would already have texture or fine lines under your eyes, because naturally those come with age. And so I think this is a good matte concealer, especially for those of us who are a bit already like having something under our eyes, but you can't, for example, use these dewy concealers because of your skin type. So not as successful as the foundation for me, but it's a still pretty decent concealer. I do think the coverage has been pretty okay. I do think it gives a nice medium coverage that you can build to looking full coverage without it looking quite heavy. But just from my personal preferences, I do think the Conceal and Define concealer is a bit more creamy, and that is why I prefer it a bit more, because as I said with powder, this tends to go a bit more on the dry side. Then let's discuss first, secondly, the foundation, and now you're gonna just see a generic image about what the foundation bottle looks like. I maybe should have tried this foundation earlier. This is a foundation that truly, it's not the foundation that I'm wearing currently, because I would have wished that this bottle would have maybe lasted a bit longer, because I just ran out of this foundation just before Christmas, so I really had to go then to my like local drugstore, because at that point it was like maybe the week before Christmas. I know I wasn't gonna able to order anything online. It would not have made it to me. So I just had to go to store, and then I think I bought one of the Catrice concealers. Concealers foundations. I bought the Catrice foundation I tried earlier this year. Unfortunately, our store's shade range of what the shades they had from the Catrice foundation, it's not as extensive as the shade range when you buy it online, so I had to pick up a shade that's a bit too yellow, and my skin also has been acting up, but it's a foundation I'm currently wearing. I do think it like looks decent, but maybe not the best. But regarding the IRL foundation, this gives a beautiful, like, I do think, because when makeup brands started doing these satin matte foundations, I was also the kind of one of the persons who was going like that. Yeah, but what is like a satin matte finish? Because if it's glowy, then is it still not gonna suit for someone who has maybe a bit oily in skin? And but how can it then be also kind of matte? So I was kind of questioning, but I truly think that with this foundation they did kind of nail the brief, in the fact that especially someone who again is in their 30s, so I can't also again do these heavy matte foundations anymore that I used to be able to do when I was a bit younger. But this truly had that indeed, because it has a bit more of a satin-esque finish. It doesn't look as drying, but it does sort of give the like coverage that I need, and it actually gives the longevity especially that I need, and the reason, for example, why I can't do like dewy foundations. However, if my skin continues being as it is, I think I might have to start also trying out doing foundations, because something has been very odd, like strange has been happening. My skin has been like dry, which is usually like something that it never gets even during winter, but that's a discussion for another video. But I would say that if you are someone who has like an oily leaning skin, maybe not like completely like very oily, then maybe if you are truly like have a very like oily skin, then this foundation might not be enough for you. But if it's some sort of mixed skin that's a bit oily leaning, or combo skin I think is the like term that's used. So if you have a combo skin that leans a bit oily, and if you again are someone who's already maybe like approaching their 30s, I do think this is a very good foundation. Something I would say is though that with this one, start building it with a sponge, maybe in light layers, and see what's the good like coverage level for you, because I didn't notice that if I packed this too much, then it kind of started looking cakey, especially at the end of the day. So this is one of those foundations that if you go very heavy-handed very quickly, then it might not look as good. But if you start with like thin layers, and especially using a sponge, then I do think the finish of it's very beautiful. And yeah, I think I'm going to be rebuying this foundation. Unfortunately, Makeup Revolution is a brand that we can buy from our drugstores, but they only have like their Conceal and Define, the original foundation that has the big doe foot. They don't carry any other of their foundations, so just like with the Silk Skin foundation that I tried from them earlier, I also had to order this from online, so this isn't again something I can that easily get, but it was totally worth like ordering, and I would recommend it if you have been having similar skin concerns that I do. Then lastly, let's talk about a powder, and powders are usually a product that these I actually do well with. Concealers and foundation I actually also like to use them almost like completely up, because with them I really want to see how they last through like different kind of like days that I have. So, but with powders I have been trying out the Micro Matte Fix, and this is a W7 pressed powder. This is powder that became available I think at the beginning of last fall, and this actually, I have been trying this out now for the last, how long has it been? It takes quite a long for me to use a pressed powder, so I think it's been like quite many months. I'm gonna have to be a bit careful about this one, because as you can see I have almost used this up. I actually think that for a pressed powder this is a very good powder. Unfortunately they only come with this one in 3 shades, at least in our store, and this is the lightest shade, and this is unfortunately almost too like deep for me to use it as a powder. So how I have been able to make this work, I have been using this as an eyeshadow base, because I have been discussing that I have been using the P. Louise eyeshadow base, which is a bit too wet for my like skin type, so I put this over the eyeshadow base to give it a nice canvas. And I can use this if I put this as thin layers, for example under my eyes to even out my concealer. But if I do, like especially now that it's winter time, if I do a full face with this one, it kind of turns my foundation into orange. But I do think that the effect this gives is very nice. I do feel this is one of those powders that do give the kind of blurred smoothing effect without it looking cakey, but I just really wish that because this isn't the first time I had the issue with W7 powders, is that their shade ranges are just really strange, where their fairest shades are pretty deep, but also then that they don't have these like often these deeper shades that, well, persons, I think anyone who has a like skin tone that's deeper from medium, like that can't like use them. So it's just quite like strange how they do their shade ranges, especially with these like powder products, because I also did have this is the second powder I've tried from them. There is another powder I tried from them previously, and that one I actually had to throw away, because again I bought the shade that was supposed to be the fairest one, but that was just like too deep. It looked like a bronzer almost on my skin. But if you're looking for a good pressed powder at a drugstore, I would recommend this one. Just be prepared that with W7 there usually aren't that many shades, and the shades can be a bit wonky. But yeah, maybe in future if they come out with like better shades, or maybe a translucent version of this one, then I would be very keen to rebuy this, because I truly did like the finish that this gave out. Okay, so next we're gonna go through cheek products, and we have one face palette, 2 blushes and a bronzer, so let's maybe start out with the bronzer. So I actually, when I made my Glossgods Black Friday order, I actually ordered that sort of a melted, what was this called? Molten Metals. I ordered the Molten Metals palette. It's actually the eyeshadow palette I'm wearing, so if you're wondering why I'm having this sort of smoky, very smoky silver eye look, that's the reason. And then I did get their sort of cloud bronzer. They released these during the summertime, but because Glossgods hasn't been releasing actually that much during this year, I wasn't gonna make an order from them just for the bronzer. But with Black Friday, and this was actually pretty heavily discounted, I actually did end up getting this one. So mine is in the shade On Cloud 9, and first I'm gonna just maybe show this packaging, and I'm already gonna be saying this, that I don't think this is like best of their product. I'm definitely more of a fan of their like liquid bronzer, liquid contour product that I have. And first issue I have is that this packaging is very cheap. Now Glossgods isn't an expensive indie brand, but they are still, even though they're very reasonably priced for indie brand, usually their packaging has been pretty good. But this just feels like very light. It feels that it's not like very sturdy in terms of being cardboard, and I'm also not maybe a fan of this like uneven. Like I would have wished that they would have at least been just a normal square, because this also kind of has been maybe storage issues. this is the shade, and initially when I got this I got a bit scared that this being the fairest shade. I actually, when I opened the package, I did check that did they pack the correct shade for me, because this looked pretty deep, but this is indeed the lightest shade they have. And I'm gonna just like going to rub this out, and that maybe also tells, because I'm like very much rubbing this out, and this is the amount that I'm getting on my fingers. So again, you can see that there's actually not that much pigment. They have advertised this as kind of a cream powder formula, and do have to say this kind of feels more of a very stiff cream formula rather than a powder that goes, or rather than a cream that has a powder-like finish. This just feels rather stiff, and that's also the second reason why I maybe haven't been such a fan of this one, because I do feel this is quite hard to pick up with the brush. They sort of have been, they advertised this as being this sort of very seamless finished on your skin, but for me this is a bit maybe already on the point that, yeah, but it's quite hard to pick up the product. So then if it's like a seamless finish, it's different from the fact that it's hard to get to show up. I am actually wearing this today, but again, I'm not so sure how much this is showing on the camera, because as I said, this has been I've been having like quite difficult times seeing this when I'm doing my makeup, that is this actually showing up on my cheeks. So I would actually think that, hope that they will go back to a drawing board with this one. I do think this, because I know cream to powder formulas have been very trendy and some brands have been very good at making them. I do think they got the right idea when they were designing this, but the execution is kind of lacking, and I can kind of not get it why this was in such a steep discount. If you're looking for good bronzer and contouring products from them, I would just stick with the liquid ones that are in the sort of similar packaging that they do their blushes in. So I would just pick them, because with this one I just feel that it's hard to pick up and it's hard to like get it to show up, and definitely, as I said, having a seamless finish is different than like a product not being there at all. And if they are going to re-release this, then maybe also that they will do a bit more with the packaging, because this honestly, like I have had drugstore bronzers and contour products that are in a sturdier packaging, and this one I'm pretty concerned that how long this is gonna last in my storage, because the packaging is so flimsy. Let's actually go through another Glossgods product. So I have been trying out the new shade from their liquid blushes. This is one of my favorite, like I'd say all-time liquid blush formula. This is a very nice sort of satin. This dries down on your cheeks, but it gives a nice satin finish, but it also builds quite well, so you can get a more sheer sort of layer with this one, but these shades build quite pigmented, and that also goes to this one. So this is the shade called Heartbreaker, and this looks like to be one of the like pale sort of white based pink shades, but this actually does build quite nicely also, like you are able to get this to show up, but as I said, it is a white based blush shade, so the white base definitely helps it in the fact that even though it's quite light. This is again one of those shades, because it's a white based pink, that I would recommend that if you have a skin undertone that has a habit that these white based sort of cheek products look ashy on your skin, then I would not go for this one. But if you have a similar skin tone that I do, because I do have like a rosy cool undertone, this is actually a pretty good fit for me. Something I will say about this, however, that even though this looks pretty pink in the tube, this actually goes a bit warm, which again probably is related to my skin undertone. So if you have a similar skin undertone than me and you're planning to buy this shade, I'm a bit unsure is this shade still available on their site, but if it is and you kind of like it and you have a similar undertone to me, just be prepared that this kind of pulls out warm, like leaning more maybe to the peachy rather than to the like cool toned pink side. There's going to be also a lip product today that we're going to be discussing that kind of looks like it has a cool undertone, but it kind of looks warm and peachy on me, but that I have noticed that happens with some products. But in terms of formula, if you have liked the Glossgods liquid blushes before, you will like this one. The formula is very on par with their other blushes. It's just a matter of fact that is this a shade for you. Then a second blush, and again this is a liquid blush, so I managed to try the Relove. So this is a more inexpensive, Makeup Revolution's more inexpensive brand. This is the sort of Relove fall products they had, and this was the Pumpkin Crush, and I believe, what was the name of this one. Java Plum was the name of this one. I'm already gonna say this is a very like cheap brand, even like from Makeup Revolution's line. I'm just gonna like put it on the back of my hand so you can kind of see the shade. So this is what we are looking at. I do actually like this this particular shade. I don't think I have anything like super similar. Oh god, and now this is leaking. Maybe also I'm not such a big fan of this one because the products tend to come out pretty easily on this one. But yeah, I do like this shade. I do have maybe one Catrice blush that has a bit similar shade, but it's not identical to this one. However, I'm maybe not as excited because Makeup Revolution has been known for doing quite many good liquid blush formulas, but with this one I do felt that you can kind of maybe see that this isn't the most expensive thing Makeup Revolution has on their line, because with this one I did feel that it was sometimes a bit patchy to work with. It was pretty easy to fix. I did then just do that. I went over to the spot with my sponge and it sort of evened itself out, but I did notice that this did have a bit of a habit of sticking to some of the like sort of textured areas that I have on my cheeks that I don't have maybe with other Makeup Revolution blushes. So if you're planning to buy these, I do think it's a pretty good blush formula for the price. I do think this is one of those that you can get a more sheer layer, and then if you want a more like more pigment, then you can build this up. I do think that in terms of formula this goes to the more buildable side of liquid blushes, because I did feel that I did have to layer this a couple of times if you wanted to have like more blush on your cheeks, but that's then again a preference thing. But just be prepared that this isn't the best liquid blush that's on the drugstore, but if you like this shade and you're willing to maybe work with it a bit more, I do think you can get a decent end result with this one. Then the last of the cheek products we are going to go through. So I have been having this for the longest time in my drawers. So this is the Pat McGrath Bridgerton Face Trio, and I'm gonna be showing how this is looking like. So it basically has two of the blush shades and one of the highlighters. Now I'm actually gonna have to check what blush shades this had. So it had the Cherries, Nymphette, and Venus Nectar, and so the... how did the shades go? Yeah, so Cherries I think is the bright pink over here, then this one is the Nymphette, and then this one is the highlighter, I believe is called Venus Nectar. I'm now maybe regretting that I decluttered my individual Nymphette shade, because I decluttered it because I thought that I had this palette, but for some reason the Nymphette shade in this one, I have been having a bit trouble getting it to build up on my cheeks, and it could also be that yes, this has been on my drawers for quite some time. It's been quite a while since this palette altogether was launched, so it could be that the age of this particular palette is showing. Then again, I had the individual Nymphette blush for quite some time and it was working just well. The hot pink shade works as well as the other sort of Pat McGrath blushes that I have tried. I also do own one of the like holiday quads that they launched a couple of years ago. So with the sort of hot pink shade here, I don't have any issues with. With the highlighter, I have pretty similar like issues that I have had with the highlighter that I had in the Christmas palettes. It's very powdery. Also, even though I think this is a trio that was geared towards like lighter skin tones, the highlighter is kind of cast like I do have to go over it with a sponge after applying it to get it to sort of blend in with my other makeup, because it does kind of leave a streak to your skin. So in terms of the fact that do I think this was like the best face trio that Pat McGrath has ever had, especially comparing to the holiday palettes that I have, not so much, because I am feeling kind of like one of the blushes, I kind of need to work with it a bit more, and also as I said, the highlighter, unfortunately, it's just as bad as the other highlighter I have in another face palette from the brand. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed with this one, because with Pat McGrath, her quality has been known to be quite stellar across products, and because at least previously, for example, the blushes that I have in her holiday face palette, they did match the quality of the individual blush that I have, but now with this one, because one of the blushes is kind of giving a hard time, and I have previously had it in an individual shade where it worked fine, and then the highlighter, well, I was kind of hoping that the highlighter formula in this one would be maybe better than the other highlighter I tried from the brand previously, but I mean it's still a nice face palette. I did get this on a discount when I bought it, so I never paid full price for it, so I'm not that bummed about it, and this is gonna be like sticking in my collection because I still do like Pat McGrath's cheap products, but maybe not the best cheap product experience I have had from the brand. Yeah, that was the last of the face products, and let's now actually move to the lips next, and actually we have quite many lip products to go through. So with lip products we're gonna be having 4 lip products, which I do think, because I usually don't go through lip products that much, this is actually a bit of a, well, not a record. I do think there's been some lip heavy videos before, but anyway, usually we don't have 4. First one is a Makeup Revolution lipstick from their holiday line. So this is the Iced Berry shade, and this was from their Metallic Muse line. I wasn't a fan of the eyeshadow palette, not because of the powder shadow quality. I do think the powder shadow quality was pretty decent, but the color story and the cream shades were giving me a bit of a hard time. So I ended up actually decluttering the eyeshadow palette from this range, but this lipstick, however, did survive my declutter. So it's one of those lipsticks that they do have this sort of shimmer finish to them, but actually when you apply it to your lips or to your skin, it kind of is more of a the sparkles aren't like that obvious when you spread it around. I have had very hit and miss luck with Makeup Revolution's lip products. I seem to be in the minority because I do know a lot of people have been liking, especially since they have been improving their formulas, a lot of people have been liking their lip products, but I still have been having some issues with them. I do like this one. As you saw from the sort of hand swatch, this isn't gonna give a sort of, if you're expecting this sort of very deep plum finish, you aren't gonna get it with this one. But you are able to sort of layer this to have this kind of very nice sort of sheer lilac, deeper lilac finish on your lips. This isn't going to be obviously very long lasting because again it's a very sort of like this sort of shiny lip formula, but I do think for the like holiday season this was pretty fun, and I do think this is going to be staying in my collection. Obviously it's like my lip product declutter, because I did think this was a nice formula. It felt nice on your lips, it spread nicely. I would recommend using a lip liner with this one, because especially with these more sort of shimmery and sort of creamier lip products, I do kind of think the lip liner helps it to sort of stick in the area and not go around your lips. I do think that if you like these and you kind of like the more sort of more sheer kind of lip product finish, then this could be a good product to look into. But if you want something super opaque from your lip products, then I would steer away from this one. Also, they had another shade in this one, which was this almost like an icy peach shade. I didn't pick that one up because I immediately saw that, okay, if this is a more sort of sheer shimmery formula, then the peachy shade would not have it would have maybe looked like that I have some kind of gloss on my lip. But as I said, I did like this one. I kind of liked also they did quite good work with the packaging. This did look quite festive. Then another sort of Makeup Revolution lip product. So this is from the Relove range also, and this is the PSL lip cream, and this is in the same sort of series that the blush that I reviewed earlier goes to that one. This is the shade Mocha Berry, and I had a bit of an oopsie with this one. So I was thinking, because in store it kind of looked, it was this sort of muted berry shade, but actually when I did get this on my lips, okay, now I have a, like, okay, I had a bit of a lipstick all over my hand, but we did fix that. So I think also in my hand it kind of still looks like it's a muted berry shade. Because with this one I do have to say that actually when this goes on my lips, and this could be an undertone thing, so when this goes on my lips this actually looks like a bright red. Which for holiday season I actually did end up using this as my holiday season red. This is one of those, because it's a lip cream, it's not gonna settle down completely, but it is, because especially with these sort of very punchy red shades, I don't like them to be in glossy formulas, because I want them to actually then stick where they are, so I don't have to be worried that I have red lipstick on my teeth or some other part of my mouth where I don't want it to be. So I do think this settled down enough for me that I felt pretty good at using this. Again, this is because it's such a punchy shade. I would use a lip liner with this one, it definitely helped. at least with me getting this even. This has a bit of a, how should I say, because this is a very cheap brand, you can kind of see that it has a very small, this sort of cheap doe foot applicator, but I actually don't mind of this one having this sort of very small applicator because it helps with precision, because especially with this kind of products, again, I do want there to be a bit precision. I also don't have that big of a, I have a bit especially on my upper lip, I have a bit uneven lip line, which does cause some issues when I usually apply my lip product, so I do want to get all the help I can get if, for example, the applicator makes it easier to spread it evenly. So just if you buy this, be prepared that it is actually quite punchy red when you get this on your lips, but if you are looking this sort of like a hybrid between a, you don't want to go full on liquid matte lipstick that's very drying, but you also don't want to have a creamy red lipstick fearing that it's gonna be spreading around to places you don't want it to be, then this could be a good alternative because it does sort of settle down, but it kind of also like isn't super drying, and it does wear off in a nice manner where you don't have to be afraid that it's going to be patchy. Also, what I do especially appreciate with this one, that you are able to sort of reapply, because with some liquid lipstick I've had the issue that if I reapply a new layer over the old one, it can start looking like funny things can start happening, it can start looking uneven, or it gets a very, it's sort of the product piles up. But with this one you were able to put a new layer over the old one, it still looked very smooth. So I think it's a pretty like a decent product, especially again considering the price. Not something, again, a formula that I would go like buy every shade of this particular product from, but for Christmas season I do think this was pretty nice. Okay, then when I was discussing about lip products that kind of look cool toned but actually end up being very warm tone or peachy on me. So I finally, because for the longest time I've been having a lot of Charlotte Tilbury products on my drawers that I haven't been trying out, so I've been now a good person and I started a project of trying them out. So I finally sort of tried out this sort of liquid lipstick formula that Charlotte Tilbury brought. I think she brought these like maybe a few years ago. What was actually, this was called the Airbrush sort of liquid lipstick, and this is actually in the shade Pillow Talk, and this is a cool tone pink in the tube, but with me this somehow changes a bit, like again on peachy leading in my lips, which is, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's just how this goes. I have like given credit to this one. This is a very expensive liquid lipstick, obviously, because it's Charlotte Tilbury, but I do appreciate the fact that the doe foot of this one, it's a very precise doe foot applicator. I do like this applicator a lot, and the packaging of this one actually feels like heavy, so this actually feels like a luxury or a high-end makeup product. How should I say? This is again one of those products that doesn't dry down matte completely, but if you let this settle down for about half an hour, a bit over once you apply it, you kind of do get, it kind of leaves a layer underneath, so if you eat or drink you're still gonna have like a bit of color left on your lips. Something I would say that this kind of do, I was thinking a bit when I wore this that this kind of maybe tries to emulate some maybe K-beauty or Asian beauty products where it's a more of a sort of moussey finish, which means that it doesn't maybe, if you like this sort of blurred lip look, this is a good one, but if you're looking for a liquid lipstick that gives a very precise lip look, then again I would not maybe like use this one, because again this is more of a blurred lip look kind of product rather than being this very sort of precise lip formula. I actually do like this because I do want my lips products to kind of stick where they are, but then again also these sort of very drying heavy duty liquid lipsticks, those maybe I'm again not such a big fan of them. So for me this is a good in-between product. Not something again that I'm gonna be buying all of the shades in, also for the fact that I maybe the sort of blurred lip look, it's maybe not one of my favorites. I actually do like to have a pretty like precise lip line, again because I do have a bit uneven lip line on my upper lip, so I actually do like my lip products to have the sort of help in the fact that my lips look maybe a bit more nicer. So this isn't sort of my favorite finish, but if you like want to spend the money on this one and you like the sort of blurred lip look, then maybe go to this one, but just maybe that if you want to save some money and get something similar than K-beauty or Asian beauty brands, they have a lot of this kind of similar product products at a much lesser price, and you might even like find something similar in terms of shades. But if you want this kind of product in a high-end version, then this is an okay option, I think, at least in my opinion. Then something from Oden's side that was kind of disappointing, I would say. So when I ordered Oden's holiday palettes, I actually did end up ordering one of their sort of, I think this was in the Legendary Diversa collection. This is from the Judy's lip products, because they, in the beginning of last year, they had the second release of the Legendary Diversa collection, and aside from palettes, all of the collaborators got to pick also, like, I think 3 lip products. There was a lot of lip products in that launch. I remember discussing that in my makeup news video. So Judy was actually the only one that didn't bring out just glosses. She actually included a liquid lipstick in her launch, and I was initially very excited because the Oden's original liquid lipsticks are still my favorite liquid lipstick formula. It is very like old school, the more drying kind of liquid lipstick formula that does stay put, but if you suffer from dry lips, I would never recommend with that one. So when I saw that, because Oden's haven't been extending their like original line of those products, when I saw that Judy actually had a liquid lipstick in her line, I was like, yes, finally they're bringing new shades. And the shade is kind of fun. So you can see it's a very sort of bright, hot pink. I'm actually gonna see if there's still like place in my hand, and actually this is gonna probably help demonstrating a bit when I'm gonna be talking. So it's a very punchy pink, and this is actually, it also showed up this pink on my lips. So if you're planning to buy this shade, and actually this shade kind of looks lighter on the promo images, so FYI, if you're planning to buy this shade, it's quite much pinkier and punchier. So what you probably can maybe see on the swatches is that this is a different formula than the original liquid lipsticks. It's a sort of mousse formula, which again is very reminiscent of other Asian beauty brand sort of liquid lipstick formulas, where there aren't like maybe this, some of them are these sort of like old school drying liquid lipsticks, but some of them are these moussier liquid lipsticks that are meant to feel more comfortable on your lips. Again, these won't maybe last you all, they aren't meant to like last you the whole day, but they do kind of like wear off nicely and are still meant to leave some color behind, so you don't have to be constantly reapplying them. And I think as an idea this was good, but unfortunately my issue is that unfortunately this feels very waxy when you apply it. It feels waxy, and I was initially thinking that could it be that I got a sort of bad product, but then again I considered that this hasn't been in my drawers because I ordered this with the holiday palettes that came in 2024. So this wasn't like on my drawers for years and years, and this is a product that has launched in the year 2024. So it's not also a product that they have been having maybe somewhere in the warehouse like a couple of years. So I think it's a formula thing, and for me, because it's waxy, it's also kind of stiff to spread out, and it kind of made, because with this kind of punchy shade, you kind of want it to go evenly, because if it goes streaky, then you're immediately gonna see it because it's such a bright shade. When I was able to like you are able to make it spread out, and when you get this to spread out, it looks nicely, but because of the sort of texture of it, I do hope that maybe if they are planning to expand on this kind of liquid lipstick formula forward, they might maybe just a bit change the formula, because the application process of this isn't the nicest. The finish of it's very beautiful. Again, it gives a very sort of like nice punchy pink lip. It looked even, it made my lips look very smooth. And again, how this sort of wore off, it kind of, if you ate and drank anything, it did wear off a bit, but you still had kind of color on your lips. So I again didn't have to constantly reapply this when I was using it. Also, I do like the packaging, like the ombre effect of it's very cool. But just in terms of formula, as the formula is right now, I would not buy any more of these shades, but if they could maybe tweak the formula a little bit, then I think this would be a very good formula, because I do think, especially for bright colors like this one, it is like very easy for those kind of shades to go wrong if the formula is wrong. But in a right kind of formula, especially because, as I said, the finish of this was quite beautiful, and once you got this to your lips, it didn't, like, the waxy feeling disappeared, but it was just like the spready the waxy feeling kind of just unfortunately disturbed the application process, which with this kind of shade you do want to get it as even as possible. Then where are we? I think there's still one more. Yeah. So lastly we're gonna be discussing a Glossgods liquid or sort of lip oil that I got with the rest of my Glossgod Black Friday order. So this is again something that they brought out with their sort of Molten Metals holiday collection. So they brought 2 shades of lip oils, and this is a new product also within their range. I tried previously a lip gloss from Glossgods, however they discontinued those, and I'm pretty happy that they did, because unfortunately that was like, it was very gloopy, the applicator for some reason was very scratchy, it was hard to get the lip gloss to look even on your lips. This is actually the lip product that I'm currently wearing. I do have a lip liner underneath, it's not this pigmented on the lips because it's a lip oil, but with a nice lip liner you can get it to look like this. But the original lip glosses weren't so good, but these lip oils on the other hand, at least based on this shade, I believe this is called Smirk, so at least with this particular shade, I like this formula much more. So first of all, I'm happy to say the applicator is no longer scratchy. It's a pretty basic doe foot applicator, but it does the job. And it is good that there is like enough product gets to the applicator, because with some doe foot I have had the unfortunately issues that also you have to dig in many times in the tube to get product out. But with this one, with this particular applicator, you do get product out. It kind of has a nice sort of like a fruity smell. The smell scent dissipates once you put this on your lips, and it's a pretty comfortable formula. I do say this is a more of for a lip from the lip oils, because I have been trying some, because those have been pretty trendy on the makeup market. This initially does feel a bit thick, but once it settles down on your lip, the sort of thick feeling goes away. And with this one, I didn't have any issues of the fact that it sort of applied streaky, or that it was hard to get to look even because of the formula being like, because of formula reasons. If you've been eyeing these lip oils from Glossgods, then maybe like try one of them out. Are these anything extraordinary in terms of being lip oils? No, we have seen now at this point, because lip oils were like the trendy thing that every brand seemed to do during 2023 and 2024. So I think if you have tried a lot of lip oils, these are not gonna offer anything new, but if you are wanting to try this out, I do think it's a pretty nice lip oil formula altogether. Yeah, but that was actually the last of the lip products, and lastly I have one eye product to show you. So the last product that I have for this video, and I actually have to first read the name because it has a quite long name. So there has been a new mascara that I've been trying. It's a mini, and the mascara is the YSL Volume Effect Faux Sills Mascara in the shade 01 Black. And so this is how it's looking, and I'm gonna just open the tester out so you can see what the wand looks like. So it's a pretty has pretty straight wand, and this has the sort of like not the, what are those, not plastic bristles, but the traditional bristles, which I do appreciate. I got actually 2 pieces of this sample, so I actually do still have another sample when I used this one up. This is the mascara that I'm actually currently wearing, and I have been wearing now for a couple of videos, so that tells actually something that one sample tube lasts quite long. It's an okay mascara, but I had to actually check how much this is full price, and this is definitely not worth 44 euros that this retails in most of our like department stores. I think for like considering like if a mascara costs 44 euros, then I expect it to do like miracles. Then I want it to be like immediately from one go. I want volume, I want length, I want separation, I want basically the false lash effect immediately, and this doesn't do any of it. It's a bit on the like clumping side in terms of mascaras, and that would be like okay, because I can deal with some clumping mascaras if it's gives the sort of like desired effect immediately, but this is a clumping mascara that you still have to build quite a lot. Like I had to layer this to both of my eyes to get it to look even how it's looking right now, like maybe like 4 times over, and then go to a tube and still go like with one layer. And I don't think the effect is as great. Like I think still that there's been like, I think this year I've been trying a lot of mascaras, but I haven't been having, like, my luck with them hasn't been that good, but I could still say that there's been like plenty of drugstore mascaras that I've been even happier with with this one. I did get this and the other sample as a gift with purchase, but then at least like if you're a luxury brand that you're trying to tempt me into spending more money to you, then at least give me products that I can at least say that, oh, that's a product that I definitely want to try in full size. Aside from the fact that this is a bit more like a clumping formula, I do think that if this is like, I'm not sure is this meant to like give more volume or length, but it kind of gives you volume, but again you do have to like layer this quite a lot to get the volumizing effect. And this doesn't give that much of a length, but I could have at least forgiven that if it would have done the sort of volumizing part maybe as it should. But for 44 euros, I would not recommend this one. This kind of has a very sort of heavy old school luxury makeup scent that I do remember, like some of my mom's maybe older makeup that the couple of like high-end products that she was maybe using when I was a child, that those products had kind of similar scent to this one. I do believe this is quite the YSL has had this mascara in their line for quite some time, but this just like, considering when I actually saw the price of this one, how much this would be full size, I was like thinking that, yeah, no, we're definitely not buying that in full size, because it's just the effect of it has been like, it's nice, it's okay, but it's not worth 44 euros, and with the price tag I would expect like almost miracles at it. If you for some reason, like when I'm thinking that who would maybe this suit for, if you already have like enough, maybe if you have like length in your lashes and you're just looking for volume and you really like YSL and you especially like a clumpy mascara, then this could be a nice one to try. But maybe again then ask that can a YSL salesperson give you a sample from their counter, and try the sample first before investing the 44 euros to the full size one, because yeah. Unfortunately, this was a bit disappointing for me. I was expecting a lot more, but hey, it's a good thing that I got this as a sample and I didn't pay from the samples. I didn't like pay anything from the samples, so I don't have to now worry about having spent huge amounts of money to a mascara that I didn't like. So that was the first one of the year, and yeah, I do think in terms of like products, what I'm thinking that it was a bit of a meh, I think. Like, I'm trying to look at the products in front of me and thinking that, well, the Makeup Revolution foundation that unfortunately, again, I didn't have the bottle anymore because I have used it up, but the Makeup Revolution foundation was a hit, and maybe the like Makeup Revolution holiday lipstick and then the Glossgods lip oil, like I think those were the like top picks that I would have from this one. But aside from the fact that all the other products were like, yeah, they were pretty decent, but also a lot of them had also some issues that I wasn't so happy about. Comment down below that if you have been trying out any new makeup products, what have you thought about them, and if you have tried out some of these products, what were your experiences with them. If you like this video, put the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell button if you want to get notification for future content. You can also find me with the same nickname with Makeup Hedgehog on Instagram. I hope I'm gonna see you in another video. Bye bye!